Hello friends, my name is Robin, as per usual, here with an Exanima tutorial for you, just covering the basics of what you need to know to play the arena mode. So I'm going to click here on the arena mode and click continue to go into my already existing save game where I'll show you the ropes. You'll want to click new game and create a character unless you already have one and you're unsure of where to go next. In that case, click continue. This is a brilliant game that I've played for enough hours to know my way around it, enough to maybe help some of you guys out. So I hope I can help you out. Alright, so first off, we're in the arena mode, obviously, so you'll notice my screen looks a little different to yours as there's a player here, but basically you're going to want to come over here, and I'd recommend for your first fight do a pugilism, and you'll only be able to do this in a inept level because you'll have your main character. But before we do that fight, we're going to go over here. What you're going to do is click recruit, and you're going to create another character. Now in the next screen it'll be like creating your first character, so you just want to finish that up. And then, for example, I have this one that I've just made here. So now you're going to go to the pugilism. Now in pugilism it doesn't matter because there's no way your character can actually die, but if your manager, your main character, dies, you lose the entire save. So to cover a few combat basics, we're going to go into this pugilism, which is just a fist fight. So you've got sort of 3 attacks. So you have your main where you click and hold. You've got a double click hold, which is an uppercut in this instance, but it's an overhead downward swing with a weapon. And you have, if you hold Alt and left click, then you sort of throw a jab like that. Defending is a little bit harder in pugilism, but your character will do it automatically for you. Now you'll notice my health is going down here. In a weapons fight, you have 2 sets of health. So you have the yellow, and there is red that comes down, which I will show you in the next clip. Okay, so combat basics. So here you see I block automatically. I'm not holding anything down, I'm just keeping my cursor on him. So movement, WASD, and your character will always follow your cursor. So if I look up here, he looks up there. If I look here, he looks there. So think of the cursor as your eyes. That is where you're going to be looking. You do need to bear in mind as you move around, your direction is going to change. So now this is me holding S, but if I go here, this is me holding S. So just be aware of that while you're moving around. So here's our normal swing by holding left click. Here's our overhead swing, and the jab swing by holding Alt I would not recommend. And there is sort of a 4th attack, but it doesn't work very well in my opinion. I prefer not to use it, but you can click hold and kind of cross your mouths over him, and they call that the wild swing. As you can see, defending just happens automatically as long as you are not mid-swing. Now with your weapons, in most cases of the weapon you want to be hitting with the end of the weapon. So you can see there it's dealing quite a bit of damage to him, but if I come right up in his face here, you'll see it didn't do a lot, but it was still enough to knock him down, but he got a really good swing on me. So you want to try not to choke your swings. You want to try and hit him with the end of the weapon as best you can. So try not to move in on your opponent as you attack. Like right there would have done nothing, but if I was there, that would have done a lot more. It does open up their defense a bit more though, so you do need to be wary of that. Be ready for them to block and be ready to block. A quick run through on the different game modes. Here we have an elimination fight. So once I defeat this guy, we will be put up against another one until we defeat all 5 of the challengers. So you'll see it comes up with next fight. If you've taken yellow damage, that is fine. When you click next health, you will be next fight, you will be full health again. As long as you haven't taken red damage, in that case you will be full up to where you've taken the red damage. If I, for example, take a hit here, so you'll see I've taken a bit of red damage. Now when I defeat her and move on, I will be healed up to that point. So you'll see here, now when I click next fight, I am full health up to where I took the red damage. The next style is a fray, which is a 6-man free-for-all. I usually hang back a little bit and just pick shots where I can to weaken my opponents later on. I find this is a good strategy where you can verse even higher rank frays due to the fact that they are usually a rank below them to enter the fight. You can see now I'm left with one other opponent, and all I had to do was hit one person pretty well. The next fight style is skirmish, so you'll see I have to select 2 NPCs to enter this. So you'll see these 2 guys here are on my team. They are helping me in a 3v3. I personally prefer not to do these as they can get pretty sloppy in these small quarters maps. And it's very hard to not hit your own teammates unless you are quite skilled. The last one I'm going to cover is Novus. Is doubles, which is like a skirmish, but there's 2 of you instead of 3. So now you can see here the red health has gone down on him, so if that empties, that means he is dead. You don't really want to use your manager, as they say, because if he dies, you lose the entire save. So you'll see here I have a merchant. So you acquire one of these by going here, you click hire, and it will bring you to this menu here. So Tiandra is an elite level fighter. This is a master level fighter, and you will eventually come across one that says merchant rather than that. So I don't believe we have one here right now, but all you want to do is just hire a merchant like you would in terms of NPC fighters. You would, for example, Arcanus here, he is an inept level fighter, so I would just click hire, and there he is. What those are used for are things like Beast, where you require an NPC, Doubles, or Skirmish, which requires you and 2 NPCs. They can also fight for you, so if we put Vespin here in a inept level duel, we can watch him fight. They do lose sometimes. He is a novice level and he's versing an inept, and you can already see he's taken a lot more damage. And he's lost. So that does happen. You want to be very wary about that happening, because you can see there he was actually pretty close to dying altogether. The next thing I want to talk about is skills and inventory. So you want to click on your character and go manage. And here we have our inventory. This is where your clothing items, armor, shields, long range weapons, and weapons will appear. Now sometimes you will notice next to your character's health bar down the bottom here, there will be a flashing plus. What that means is that your character has leveled up a skill. So you'll come to your skill menu and you'll have a little plus on there, or there. What you'll want to do is select your new skill and leave it there. You can see I have one selected here, and that bar is not full. That means he's not learnt the skill yet, so you can't actually use this until they've learnt the skill. The first one I typically go for is Remice, where you follow your swing with another swing in the other direction. So if you selected that skill, you will not be able to use that straight away. You'll only be able to swing one direction. Once your character levels up again, then you will be able to use that skill and swing back. This is your main store. He stocks here. He stocks anything. He will stock anything at any rank, as you can see here. You can only wear this helmet if the player is rank master, so that is no use to me now. This is adept, which is also no use to me, but this here is an aspirant level weapon. So we could equip this on one of our characters because we have aspirants. This is a standard inept level weapon, so it will not say a level. That means it's inept, which means you can equip it on anyone. Our merchant here that we hired, you can set to look for either clothing and armor or weapons or just any of it at any level you require, or just any. In order to purchase things, all you want to do is drag it in here and click trade. You can go into manage up here, and you can bring things into this little inventory up there. Make sure it's on your main character, your manager, and you can sell it to either of these people by dragging it here and clicking trade. I'm going to hold on to those for one of my other characters. As you level up your characters, you'll be able to take on harder fights. So elimination is one character fights one fight. When they beat that person, they fight in the next fight through 5 different fights. If you win that, you earn this prize, 6 silver. Pugilism is the fist fighting. Duel is 1v1. Skirmish is 3v3. Fray is a 6-man all-out brawl. Challenges are different. You can challenge any level challenger at any level. I would highly recommend not facing an expert challenger at any level below expert or master, because they are quite difficult. Here we have a novice challenger, so I'm going to challenge him. I would normally not take this risk. As you can see, they have a sharp weapon which can deal quite a lot of red damage, which is not good. I don't like to risk my characters, but I figured we could take it. So you can see there I timed my shots well, hit her with the end of the mace where it'll deal the most damage. I didn't choke my shots by just hitting her with my hand by getting too close, and we dealt the most damage and were able to take her out in 2 hits. We'll go into another challenger fight at a lower level. Now, because they don't have a required rank, I am still wearing my novice level gear, which we will talk about in a minute. So you can see there, the shot with the end of the mace dealt a lot of damage. If I come in here, you'll see I did not a lot of damage. I choked the shot by getting in too close. As you can see, I've done again and again there. So you want to keep your distance right for the right weapon. So right there was a perfect range, and we were able to just hit him right in the head with a counter swing and drop him in that one hit. We're going to go back into our manage here. So once your character's leveled up to aspirant or above, you'll need to manage their inventory separately. So say you've bought some fancy new clothing that is an aspirant level. For example, we'll go here. So you can see this is what my character's wearing as a novice. As a inept level fighter, this is what he's wearing as a novice. So you'll have different things like these trousers that are aspirant level, and he's wearing something different here in aspirant. So when you level up to aspirant, you'll want to come up here, select aspirant, and make sure you've got the best gear on that you can have in that rank. So you'll see here we have a cuirass, which is novice level. So he's not wearing that in his aspirant level. So when he does aspirant level fights, he will be using his aspirant level gear. In novice level fights, he'll be wearing his novice level gear. In inept fights, he'll be wearing his inept level gear. This is excluding the challenges, as the challenges don't have a required rank. So he can wear whatever he pleases. So you'll see here he's still wearing novice while this person is clearly inept. You can further keep recruiting other people. So for example, I have him and him that are recruits. So those are your playable characters. You always want to be using a playable character that is not your main character, unless you are doing fights such as a pugilism or not. Now the red health, you'll notice, has gone down over time. After a few fights, if they don't take too much more of it, then it will disappear. So if he is hurt down to here with the red health, then I'll want to use my other playable character until that goes away. If they are both really hurt, that's when I'll start doing some pugilism with my main character, as you cannot take red damage. That's going to end us off here, guys. Thank you for listening, and I hope I helped you out.